Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to the Planetary Pull from Big Planet Comics. And it is October the 29th. It's almost Halloween. I'm your host H, and with me is...
Kendall.
How you doing today, man?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. So, it's all coming down to the wire. Just got to ask a quick question though. So, Marvel has announced their big slate of movies coming out for the next couple of years.
Yes.
What did you think about the announcement?
I'm crazy excited about it. At this point, Marvel can do no wrong. But that's a step too far. But in terms of their announcement, I'm really excited. I mean, they announced like 7 or 8 different movies.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of them being like Black Panther, which I'm really excited about. Captain Marvel with Carol Danvers, which I'm really excited about. Humanoids. Excuse me, not Humanoids.
Inhumans.
Thank you, Inhumans. What else?
Thor Ragnarok, Captain America Civil War. What else? There was
Avengers.
And the Avengers,
like
of course.
The two Avengers, Infinity War,
right.
Part 1 and 2.
So yeah, it's a lot out there. Yeah. I think my only concern is the fact that, I mean, with a lot of material, you know, we're looking at some of the stories that they're doing that's been out for like maybe 15 years. So, you know, with all the movies that we're seeing that's going to come out from Marvel, I'm just slightly concerned. Like, hopefully they don't oversaturate the market with all these movies.
I mean, they've done pretty well so far, and especially with, you know, they've got 4 TV shows that they're going to have through Netflix. So
right.
That's 4 TV shows plus 2 ABC shows plus who knows, they might announce more TV shows before then, but they've got like an entire series of TV shows along with all these movies, and I think they're doing pretty well with like not putting it in your face too much with what they're doing, and they're doing a good job with, you know, keeping things entertaining and interesting.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and then the big thing for me was, I was like, wow, this was almost like an Apple event. I mean, you're used to Apple or going to like an E3 and seeing an announcement like this, where a couple of weeks ago when DC made their announcement, hey, this is what's coming out.
They kind of said it.
And this was something actually people could kind of tune in and see like the live feed of what was going on, because I can tell you that like one of the chat rooms I was in, people were just really excited over this.
Yeah, and they I mean, it's like all their stuff is currently kind of tying together. I'm sure they weren't too happy about the trailer leaking last week, but at this point they know how excited people are. They had like 35 million people watch that trailer in the first day.
Right.
35 million. That's
right. And I mean, we got a fair bit of traffic through our website with the website as well. So I was really excited about that myself. Yeah. And you know, a lot of my friends are like, well, yeah, we just can't wait for next year to get here fast. And I feel like, yeah, come on, bring it on. As long as they do a good job, then yeah. And I mean, you know, Pete and I was talking about it earlier, you know, with my concern. And the one takeaway from it is that Marvel pretty much sticks by what they say. So, you know, we can almost rest assured that we're going to get these movies. It's DC that still has a lot to prove to the crowd.
Yeah, definitely.
So... Speaking of DC, did you get a chance to check out Constantine on Friday?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I don't know. There was something about the trailer for it that didn't really like pique my interest enough.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll probably check it out. I'm still watching Gotham just to laugh at it. But yeah.
Yeah, I got a chance to check it out. It's not bad. I mean, it's kind of what you expect at 10 o'clock on Friday. So. And the funny thing is, all my friends are hung up over but he doesn't smoke, but it's still a good show. Like, yeah, but a lot of people don't smoke on television anymore.
I mean, like nobody smokes on television, so I don't really know why, of all the character traits that's so important for a show that's telling stories about supernatural stuff. Yeah. Like, it seems kind of an odd takeaway that, like, that's so important. But,
yeah. But I mean, otherwise, Constantine, I think, had a pretty good start. I mean, from what I've talked to a lot of my friends, they're happy with how the show came out pretty strong, and they're hoping that NBC can keep up the pace because, of course, you know, in the light of everything else with Arrow and Flash and Gotham, now NBC is getting in the mix with the DC show. Now, hopefully, they can keep it on because, hey, you have Grimm. And Grimm, kind of like Heroes, has had shows that have come on afterwards that didn't do well.
Right.
You had Hannibal, you had Dracula, and now you have Constantine. So hopefully Constantine can break that 10 o'clock curse and keep people watching.
Yeah.
So we will see. So I'm going to get into some books if you want to stick around. But
I haven't read anything yet, so...
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
All right. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let's go on and do our book reviews for this week. Hopefully you all got your stuff together for Halloween, because I know I'm ready. And the first book I'm going to review this week is number 5 of Southern Bastards, image book by Jason Aaron and Jason Latour. And this is a sleeper issue if you've not read this series. I mean, at the end of issue number 4, Earl Tubbs went to try to exact some revenge against Coach Boss, and he bought it. And most of the time you would have thought that was the end of the book, because quite frankly I was like, wow, that's just kind of a messed up way to finish. But then we come out with number 5, and Aaron and Latour are really trying to like sow the seeds of, if you wanted a slice of what life is like down south, this is it. So this book pretty much deals with the aftermath of what happened with the coach afterwards, and how a lot of people pretty much saw what happened, but either out of fear or just being ashamed decided, hey, we're not going to mess with it. You know, I mean, the coach was even bold enough to go to the funeral, for Pete's sake. So this has been a pretty solid book all the way through. The art is solid by Latour. Aaron is telling the story, and yeah, it might touch a few nerves with the language, but you know, again, if you're from the South, this is pretty much it. This is kind of like a written version of what The Wire would be like, but set down south. So yeah, pretty good book. I think you should pick it up. Second book I'm doing, Brian Michael Bendis and Mahmoud Ashrar in All New X-Men number 33. And honestly, it's kind of a good thing that Bendis is doing this, as well as the Ultimate Spider-Man, because you know, we got a whole lot going on with this book. As you know, there was a mutant that somehow in the last issue tossed some of the X-Men everywhere. So you had Iceman in this book. He's dealing with Mole Man. You got Beast all of a sudden finding himself in Latveria. And then, of course, still part of the core story is that Jean Grey is now in Ultimate Universe and is trying to find a way to get back home. And matter of fact, even the way this ends, it ends on a slightly different twist when Miles Morales and Jean Grey decide to go to Westchester to go find out what happened with the X-Men school. This book, as a whole, since I started reading, and what issue? We're in the 33rd issue. Has had its highs and its lows, because it's kind of how Bendis does his books. He does like a lot of exposition to set it up for action, and then there's a little bit of action, a lot of exposition. This book, I think, was a good mix, and still not exactly sure what the end game is going to be, because, of course, you know, we've talked about it a couple of times. Marvel is still trying to figure out what the heck they're going to do with Ultimate Universe. We're still not sure whether or not they're going to try to fold it all into each other, or whether or not they're going to just destroy everything and try to roll all of Marvel into a cinematic universe. Don't know. All I know, this issue is still a solid issue. This book is still a solid book. Check it out. Alright, and we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to go to the DC side of things. We're going to go to Batman Eternal, and God only knows what's doing it this week. We have Scott Snyder and James Tynion and Ray Fawkes with the art for issue number 30 of Batman Eternal. And my God, DC, trying to get a Batman book out every week. Sometimes I want to scratch my head, and sometimes I want to applaud. And sometimes I want to scratch my head when I look, and it's one of those books that has a decent story, but the art is horrible, and vice versa. This is one of the few times it's like, okay, everything just kind of fits together. You guys need to keep this team together for a bit, because we're still looking at the fact that there's some supernatural happenings going on underground. And spoiler, the Spectre shows up. Finally, you know, we've been trying to get Corrigan to let that little demon out. He comes out. We find out the fate of Arkham Asylum, and part of that is covered in Arkham Manor, which some of you should have gotten if you've not gotten it by now. But yeah, Batman Eternal, special. Not sure whose idea it was to say, hey, we need to get a weekly Batman book, but for the past couple of issues, I would say for like the last 3 or 4 issues, DC's kept a pretty good handle on it, and really it's just kind of bizarre how this went from, okay, it was a crime book to a supernatural book. So it's almost like you could pick up an issue of this and you never can quite 100% expect what you're going to get out of it, but still solid right now. My last issue, which is the last issue for this team, Brian Azzarello and Jim Chang, on Wonder Woman number 35, and everything gets wrapped up in a tidy little bow. We find out the fate of Zeus, because the whole question that a lot of us totally forgot since the first couple issues, where the hell is Zeus? That's covered here. We also find out the fate of the firstborn, who was trying to take over Olympus, trying to kill everything and everybody. And we also find out what Athena is up to. Kind of sad to see them go, because unfortunately that consistency that we've seen throughout the whole 35 issue run may go out the window right along with it, because out of all things DC New 52 right now, this has been like the one consistent book. And I mean, it's not even the flagship book. I mean, when you look at your Superman, Action Comics, and Batman and so forth, Superman, in my personal opinion, along with Action Comics, have been like the least consistent of the books. Batman has done fairly well, and then of course, you know, there was that little thing last year with the villains takeover that just kind of threw everything off kilter a bit. But somehow, with Wonder Woman remaining kind of isolated from everything else that's been going on, and just totally focusing on this story here with baby Zeke and Zola and the rest of the Amazon family, it's kept me interested. And again, it's sad to see this team go. So if you're a Wonder Woman fan, if you've been on board, you got to get this out and keep your fingers crossed for issue number 36. So outside of that, those are my picks for the week. I hope you guys also enjoyed the little sneak peek of what we have out that's coming out today. Other than that, again, stay up with Big Planet Comics on Facebook. You can also find them on the internet at bigplanetcomics.com. You can also find my website, popcultureuncovered.com. Other than that, I'm your host, H. Enjoy your Halloween. We'll see you guys next week.